KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, sports fans, every time we have the one and only Doug Palmer in the KUM News Zoom Room, that means we are talking not only about UOG, but we are talking about high-level competition sports on Guam. So, Doug, it's always good to see you, my friend.
Glad to be here, Jason. We're excited about the program. We're starting, I said we got 7 sports playing right now, and that's kind of potentially setting an all-time record for UOG of having this number of sports playing at the same time. So it's a little bit wearing me down, but it's also a great, exciting time too.
Well, if you go home at the end of the day and, like completely ready to become one with the mattress and everything because you've been working on UOG sports, like that's
Yes.
a well-lived life.
Absolutely.
All right, but the two things we are going to talk about are the UOG, the Invitational Baseball Tournament, which I know is being played at Ukadu, which, by the way, is a completely redesigned field. So hats off to Bill Bennett and his crew over there. I was over there this past weekend. Phenomenal field. Yes,
it drains very well. It's got great lights. So we're really happy about being able to play there. We pretty much knew as soon as they had told us that Paseo was going to have a concert the weekend before that we didn't even think about going to Paseo because we knew the field wouldn't be in good shape after that. So, and we've been playing in the Guam Amateur League this past fall. So we knew Okadu was a great place to play. And, I contacted Bill, and Bill, me and him worked out all the details of playing out there. So for the next 3 weekends, we'll still be out there playing in our UOG Baseball, UOG Endowment Foundation Invitational.
There you go. Now, Doug, I got to ask you, I know, you're really on top of your game when it comes to stats, right? So is this invitational tournament going to set a record for stolen bases? Because when I was up there, just walking along like the base path and everything like that, it's a really fast path. So I would assume there's going to be a lot of guys like stealing.
There's been a decent number there's been a decent number of steals for sure. I'm actually doing the stats or keeping the book for every game. So
there you go.
There has been a bunch of steals, not a whole lot of triples or home runs. Nobody's gotten one of them yet, but there've been several doubles. So it's a little bit hard to knock a ball out of Okadu because actually the winds generally tend to blow in.
Yeah.
And of course, now we've got the trade winds going, so it's been very windy out there. So there hasn't been really any long balls hit. So the short game and the game that we lost to the Pirates the other night, they got 5 straight singles basically to our right side, going the opposite way for the most part. So they learned how to play the ballpark there towards the end of our game with them.
Now, even with your role as AD, how much direct interaction do you have on a regular basis with UOG baseball coach Roque Alcantara? Because the rich history that his family has with like island sports and everything, but in administering his program and everything like that, how often do you guys sit down and talk strategy, needs, and whatnot?
Well, hate to say not as much as I would like. Biggest problem with baseball is, even though George Washington is right next to us, that's where they practice. So Roque doesn't really come by the field house quite that much. But we probably talk we always talk at games, before and after games, and usually see each other at least once every 2 weeks to have a conversation. But we got confidence in Roque of handling the program. So an everyday contact is not quite as needed as some. I do talk to like the basketball coaches a lot more than I talk to most of the other coaches because I'm at every one of their games here in the field house and they practice here. So I get to see them a little bit more. But if there's something that needs to be talked about, then we're always on social media. We're on WhatsApp. Sure. So we're passing information, that way. So more than likely, there's not more than 2 days go by that we don't have a WhatsApp message of something. So we stay in contact.
Well, when Roque Alcantara isn't teaching young athletes how to play baseball the right way, he's selling acai bowls. So
yeah,
he's keeping Guamanians healthy and getting them out.
Keeping them purple with his purple business going.
There you go. Yeah. Purple GW right next to him. That's so fitting.
Yeah.
So how has the the attendance been at the invitational, like in the games and everything? I mean, I know you want the you want all of the stands packed and everything, but how has the fan support been?
Well, for the two UOG games, it's actually been very good. I mean, we actually have a pretty good following in baseball. So at Paseo, we had a lot of people there, and at Okadu, I mean, of course, you got your families and stuff, but you have other people coming to the games. Our game against the Dodgers we consider the Dodgers being one of our rivals since we actually started the baseball program last year playing the Dodgers. So we had a good crowd for that, and then us and the Pirates had a really good crowd on Sunday afternoon. The other games have been, maybe 25 to 50 people being there, but for our games, we've had 100 plus being there.
Very nice.
So it's been pretty good, and we play again. I mean, and we actually kind of set the schedule up. We take a little bit of advantage of it being our game, our tournament that we play on Friday night at 7. We're going to play again this Friday night at 7. So we kind of make our games to be in some of the prime games. But then after we get through the early part of this weekend's games, then we get into bracket play, into the double elimination part of the tournament. And then our advantages kind of go away. It's the luck of the draw of what seeds you are when you play. So, but yeah, we've been pretty happy with it. We probably would draw more at Paseo at their stadium, but the crowds have been good. Actually, I've been very impressed with the crowds that have been there for our games.
Well, UOG fans do travel very, very well. So no matter where you play, there's always going to be white and green in the stands for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of now, of course, baseball has been a thing again since face-to-face athletic competition has resumed. But for the first time in quite a while, UOG is fielding a women's volleyball team, and I remember when I was playing in club ball in the '90s. I mean, UOG's women's team was like the dominant team for a long time.
Yeah, well, when we originally started athletics again back when I came in 2016. It was men's basketball and women's volleyball for our two indoor sports and the two soccer teams. But after 3 years, and we actually pretty much had an undefeated women's volleyball team in our leagues, we couldn't find anybody else to play us. So that's when we decided to not drop, but kind of suspend women's volleyball. And that's when we brought in women's basketball at that time. But now it's now 4 years later, we decided to try women's volleyball again, first with the beach version this fall, and now with the indoor version. And we still don't have a great number of players yet, but we have 7 or 8 out there. But we have a 5-team league, and we're really excited that we played our first match last night, and we won our first match 3-0 over the Guam Pro number 2 team. They got 2 teams in our tournament.
So you took them in straight sets.
Really excited.
Nice. You took them in straight sets. Well done.
Oh yeah. Well, but this is a younger team, so I mean they're high school age. So we're we really we don't have a real experienced team playing together, but we had a little bit more experience of playing on the court. So I think that kind of gave us the advantage towards the end of each match. But one was 25-23 and one was 25-22. So and the third one was 25-19. So we didn't whip them at all, but we did get the victory out of it. But it was just great playing volleyball. I actually tend to think women's volleyball may be the best spectator women's sport there is. It's just a little bit different than everything else. And I actually coached women's volleyball way back when a little bit. So I really like women's volleyball, and I was excited about watching our team play last night.
Very nice. And I guess fitting too, Doug, because one of the members, and since you've been over there at UOG, there's now a UOG Athletic Hall of Fame, and one of the recent inductees was the great Tosca Lindberg, who was playing when I was at UOG. I mean, she was dominant. So yes. It's kind of very, very apropos that the team would come back when Tosca's likeness is right up there as they walk into the gym. Hopefully they get inspired by her.
Say that again?
Hopefully they get inspired by her, because she was
Absolutely.
A very, very good player.
Hopefully they stop and read and take a look. And we always try to tell them, someday you may be up there. So it's something to work towards. But Tosca, I talked to her several times. sorry she couldn't get back here for the actual induction, but she really did. I mean, she's an all-inspiring physical specimen. She's in a picture with 3 other our Hall of Famers from basketball, and she just dominates the picture.
Yeah.
So, and
she was a very nice person too. I remember that.
Most of them come up to about here on her. So, yeah, she's a very inspiring person.
Okay, so Doug, final thoughts on what the future has. Like we're of course in the spring semester and everything, completing this semester and then heading into the summer. What can we expect from UOG athletics?
Well, like I said, we're playing right now 7 sports, and it's a very exciting time. Our men's and women's soccer started playing again. Men's and women's basketball both are playing. Actually, women's basketball opens their spring season tonight. The baseball tournament is going on. We got a good 4 teams there playing that making pretty exciting. Actually, next 2 Sundays from now, we're going to play our beach volleyball version at a tournament down at the Jimmy D's, and so the only sport we really haven't been able to quite get going is women's rugby. We played one tournament 3 semesters ago, and we've never been able to get another tournament going, mostly because we haven't had enough players.
Which is astonishing considering how big women's rugby is on Guam.
Yeah, well, we actually had 12 people come out for it that fall, but when we played, we only had 7. Concussion the first day, separated shoulder the second day. So we then told our coach, you can't play till you get 10 players, and we've never quite gotten back to 10 players yet. But hopefully by this next fall, we'll be able to play women's rugby regularly. So, but like I said, this is the most exciting, most work we're doing. We had 5 sports playing on Sunday. So, and I was at baseball. I won't say I'm stuck in baseball, but I was at baseball, so I could only see the baseball team play. But we had our futsal team playing, men's basketball team playing, men's soccer team playing. We even played co-ed basketball now. That team was playing. So Sunday was a big day for us, and actually this next weekend is going to be a big weekend as well.
Well, Doug, in addition to all of the responsibilities that your very capable shoulders bear for up there at Triton U, we hope that UOG is also comping your gas, because you're putting a lot of mileage on the old odometer. There you go.
We're driving around, yeah, but happy to say Guam's a small island.
Yeah,
I mean, it's certainly
UOG is bearing fruit right now, because the athletic program is returning to its glory days of being, like everybody says, like, okay, we've got a game against UOG. They're going to give us their very best.
Oh yeah, everybody loves to play us when we play in these community league basketball teams. We feel like we're the Dark Empire because everybody's doing their best against us, and a lot of times we're the only team that has matching uniforms, and everybody's out there dressed alike. So a lot of times, if we're in a close game, everybody in the gym's pulling against us, regardless of what team they're on, besides the UOG folks. But that's great. That's the way we want it to be. I know we're the evil empire, but once the game's over, we're all the best friends in the world.
There you go.
That's kind of what we want to do. I got a wedding to go to soon of one of the micro friends, the guys who run the micro friends, because we got a great relationship with that organization now and playing most of their basketball tournaments, and they play in ours. So I probably got to go to Ryan's wedding here in a few weeks. So we really like the relationships that we build when we go out in the community to play.
Absolutely. And I'm going to close with this. So since you mentioned the evil empire, Mr. Steinbrenner, it's been a pleasure interviewing you.
No problem. I like to be the bad guy. I'm actually a pretty good guy, but I like trying to think I'm a bad guy.
There you go. There are many different shades, not just pure black. There are many dark shades. So absolutely. But you absolutely bleed green, Doug, and we appreciate it.
I try. Sorry, I got blue on today, but yeah, I would use, if I knew about this interview yesterday, I would have wore green today.
Your office more than makes up for it. So, Doug, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
All right.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.